We are the Guinea Pig Collective. All will be assimilated. Resistance is futile.
Hey everybody, what's going on? And welcome back to another Going Old School Retro Discussions up in the house with some good ass friends today. Already we got our almost co-host at this point. We got Jens Petter. What's going on, Jens?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, all right, back again, for some more Going Old School Retro Discussions. Yeah.
It's always a fun time, too. I love going back and delving into these things from the past, and it just brings up the childhood memories for some people. They hit that nostalgia trip. There ain't nothing wrong with that. And, of course, we got a good friend with us today. We also have the creator of Infinitel Chronicles, the War of the Trees, and soon to be an ongoing series. We have Chris Fisk. What's going on, Chris?
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me.
Oh, no. It's always a pleasure. I've been waiting to get you up here. So before we go ahead and get started, first I want to say hi to all the lovely people that already stopped by in the chat. Remember to go ahead and share this stream out because we are the most hated guinea pigs on YouTube, and YouTube tries to suppress us, but we will nibble back. We shall not be destroyed. First off, we got Lasso of Truth first. What is going on, Lasso of Truth? I seen you already shared that out earlier. Thank you so much. Of course, we also got Chris in the chat as well. Chris is everywhere. And we see Sporking News Podcast. Hail the Guinea Pig Collective. Thank you for coming through, Scott. I truly do appreciate it. We also got the lovely Sherry in the house. Hello there. How are you doing? Good to see you and welcome. And of course, we got the super fan, Adam Shawhan. Nibble. What is up, my friend? I love that. Nibble. That should be like, it should be something on shirts for the Guinea Pig Collective. So, we're going to talk about something a little bit old school. It's one of those shows that I like so much. And recently, last week, we had the Battlestar Galactica discussion where we had Brightest Day and we had Supreme Heretic. And a lot of other people had stopped in to talk about that old show, including Deej Odyssey. Of course, Jens was there for that one as well. But we had an amazing discussion about the older show and what they believe the newer show was doing right. And they told me about a site that I could go on and watch the newer show if I wasn't that acquainted. Because after the Caprica, which is supposed to be the, before Battlestar happens, after watching that, I didn't want to watch the new stuff, but I finally started watching a little bit, and they told me to find it on Tubi. And while I was on Tubi, I started looking at some of the older shows that they had there. And one of the older shows they had sitting there right next to Battlestar Galactica, which they had the old one and the newer one, is they had Buck Rogers. And I was like, oh, that's a subject that I have not touched on in a very long time. The last time I touched on it is when I was doing my movie, like every week I was doing a movie and a toy talk every single week, which I really need to get back to one of these days. But that was over a year and a half ago at least, possibly even 2 years ago, and it was the last time I touched on that subject. And I loved the hell of that show, and I did have some of the toys.
Yeah. Nice. Did you ever get the ship?
What the one I got the do you remember Ertl was putting out the little Buck Rogers miniatures that was almost the size of like a matchbox?
Oh yeah.
And they had the little switch in the middle, and it brought out the yellow wings. They were supposed to be white, but they were yellow on that little minifigure.
Oh man.
I also did have some of the figures. Like I did find over my dad's house. Frank, what's going on, Frank? It's always good that the Wiener Dog Clan is here too. I did find a few of the smaller figures. I did find Buck Rogers, and I did find in my father's room, I found Wilma Deering. Unfortunately, Wilma Deering was in pieces, and I think that's just because the band broke. So it's easily fixable. That's not a problem. I could fix that. But I couldn't find Tweaky. I couldn't find
Tiger Man.
Tiger Man. I couldn't find the guard because they had the guard too. Also, I had what was the last one I had?
Killer King.
Yes.
Yeah.
Killer King.
Man, I wish they made Ardala too.
I unfortunately I never got that Falcon guy.
Oh, Hawk.
Hawk. I never got him. I don't know why I didn't get him, but I got all the other ones.
In my opinion, he was the only good thing that came out of season 2 of Buck Rogers.
Yes, nibble that like button.
I'm sure that they ripped him off on Rick and Morty.
Oh yeah, bird person.
yeah, bird person. Yeah.
Scott said he always thought his name was Twinkies as a kid.
I did too. When I watched it, I thought his name was Twinkie. Beady, beady, beady. I'm with you, Buck. Do you remember his girlfriend? Twinkie's girlfriend?
Oh yeah.
Booty.
yeah.
Sorry.
So before we go ahead and really get underway with the discussion, I do have a few clips prepared to kind of get everybody in the nostalgia trip. But for those that are also maybe not well acquainted with Buck Rogers, we're going to give you a little bit of taste of the history of Buck Rogers as well as the toy line. Here we go.
We will be talking about Buck Rogers toy lines. Now, in case you are one of those people that really don't know anything about Buck Rogers, let's give a little bit of back history on it. So Buck Rogers was created by Philip Francis Nolan, and his first appearance as Anthony Rogers was in the short story Armageddon 2419 AD, which was published in the August 1928 issue of Amazing Stories. The president of National Newspaper Services Syndicate, John Flint Dill, had read and enjoyed the original story, and he eventually approached Nolan to do a science fiction comic strip based on his original ideas. This would actually wind up becoming the first such strip in the world. Now, Richard Calkins was commissioned to do the art, and it debuted on January 7th of 1929 as Buck Rogers 2429 AD. 3 years later, Buck also made the jump to radio in a 4-time weekly broadcast starting on November 7th of 1932.
So there's a little bit of a brief back history to Buck Rogers that maybe some people might not know about.
Yeah. Wow. He goes back. He's like Flash, probably even further.
Yeah. It was a very old series that got rejuvenated a few times. Hey, what's going on, Bone? Greetings.
Wow.
So was there anything in there that you weren't aware of, Chris? I want to see if I stumped you.
well, I was first acquainted with Buck Rogers from this was it the 70s or 80s?
It was 70s. I originally thought it was 80s, but it was 70s.
Yeah, like Gil Gerard to me was Buck, and I didn't realize how far it went back until like decades later. There was like a reboot that was closer to the original script, which was like a World War I soldier who like Buck Rogers was, and like there's a scene where Gil Gerard and Aaron Gray play the remake Buck's parents, and I was like, wait, what is this? And then to the Google, I started looking, and I was like, wow, I didn't realize it was this old.
No, it is an old series, and I mean after the radio series, eventually they got into the movies too, and then of course after the movies is when they wound up rebooting it as a TV series in the late 70s.
Wow.
I want to say it was 79 when it first aired. And for whatever reason, it only ran until 81, I believe it was. It started in 79, ended in 81, but it's only listed as running for, I think, one full season.
I think it was the 2 seasons, because there was a major like style and everything redirect after the first part. Like in the first part, like Wilma Deering was like, Colonel or Commander Deering, and she was part of the Earth Defense Force, and they were fighting against Ardala and the Draconians. And then all of a sudden, like series 2, it turned into like they're on the Searcher looking for the 13th tribe of humans. And I'm like, wait, isn't that the plot of Battlestar?
Yeah.
And to me, the only good thing that came out of it, obviously the episodes were good. Like I think the writing improved a little bit, but like Hawk was like what we're seeing on screen right now. That guy was awesome back in the day. He had a ship that had these big talons that could tear ships apart. It was badass.
Okay, so it was 2 seasons. I was right. It did run from 79 to 81, but it ran for 32 episodes total.
Wow. Too short, man. Too short.
I think so. I know when that show first came out, I was glued to that
Hell yeah.
to the TV, watching it every single week. And what's going on? Tina Bochin, welcome. It's good to see you. I watched reruns when I was a kid. Yeah, I got the chance to actually watch it live. That was really cool. Marvin Dog, what's going on? Wilma had a tempting zipper.
Oh, yeah.
Crap water. Heater down. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
No, not the heater. All right, Jens, what you got here you want to talk about before I move on to the other 2 clips?
No, I'm just showing what Chris was talking about with Hawk and his ship that had talents that would like claw the fuck out of
Oh, yeah.
enemy ship.
Yeah, initially he was supposed to be a bad guy in the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Initially.
Yeah. Hey, are you seeing this at all? Look, you can buy like models. Didn't even know they were doing models.
Well,
No,
the actor.
yeah, I was actually kind of surprised that they never made any kind of new figures, like even a third-party company, because I was looking to see if they'd create anything new, and I couldn't find anything.
Yeah. I'd love to see a modern take on these characters. Not the SJW stuff, but like with all the new tech that they have now, like the way they remade Battlestar.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah,
badass.
Someone probably funds it.
Mm. Well, the actor here that plays Hawk, apparently he's a known villain actor. So I guess this was like his babyface turn.
Yeah.
Man.
And what's going on, Immortal? Coil, good to see you.
Anyway.
So, as far as the other 2 clips, that's going to get into the rest of the Buck Rogers story. And, of course, the very last clip is really going to delve into the figures that Chris would probably be more familiar with. Ooh. So, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to run both of those back to back, and then we can get back into the discussion. I hope everybody's out there in the chat is ready for this, because I keep hearing that these clips are supposed to be good. I'm trying to do my best. So, if they're horrible, just let me know.
And with the rise of popularity of the Buck Rogers franchise, it was only a matter of time until a movie was made, and this was done by RKO. Some changes, of course, were made, and eventually the story was picked up and changed once again in 1979 with a TV series starring Gil Garrod playing the role of Buck Rogers. So now with that little bit of backstory out of the way, we can actually get down to the toys that were created for the Buck Rogers franchise. In 1934, Daisy had produced Buck Rogers metal toy ray guns, the XZ-31 rocket pistol. And the next year, Daisy introduced another huge success for them with the XZ-38 disintegrator pistol, a ray gun with a new Art Deco design. Soon after the disintegrator pistols hit the market, Daisy unleashed water-shooting power on the world with the Buck Rogers liquid helium water pistol XZ-44 in 1935.
Whoa.
Yeah, see, going old school with some of that stuff. What would this not be an old school show if I didn't take it old school?
Yeah.
Those look pretty sweet.
Yeah, I seen that. I hope the power comes back on soon, Tina. She said she'd lost power.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, that sucks.
That always sucks when it happens. I know it happened to us, like just as what was that? Hurricane Irma had blown over our area. We lost it for like 2.5 weeks.
Oh, 2 weeks with oh man.
Oh yeah, so much fun. And what's going on, Shellback?
Hey.
Hey, Buck.
Man. Mel Blanc, man. Bugs Bunny as Twiggy.
I know, right? so hilarious. Like the first time I heard him talk, I wasn't really sure what he was saying, but it was supposed to be busy.
Really?
That was
busy.
yeah.
Well, yeah, that sounds like it.
What's going on, Grant Gregory, and what's going on, Captain Trek? Go ahead, Shellback.
Hey.
I like Biddy better than Busy because
Of course you would.
Because Biddy sounds like titty.
well, his girlfriend would say booty all the time. Booty,
Yeah.
booty.
I thought it was Dibby. Dibby.
No, apparently it was
Oh.
supposed to be busy.
Well, do you remember in season 2 they replaced Mel Blanc and they had a completely different voice for Twiki,
Mhm.
and it was like so like jarring. It was like, I'm not even trying to sound like Mel Blanc.
Well, originally they were talking about they weren't even going to have him talk at all. Like there was going to be no dialogue whatsoever for that character. And when they decided to add it, that that was right around the same time they decided to add like the brain that he used to wear around his chest. That
Oh, Dr. Theopolis,
yeah.
Was there?
who had like a completely like his voice was like that of a psychiatrist. It was all like super soothing. Yeah, those were like the overlords of the rebuilt human society. They were the thinkers.
Once again, sounding very much like you said, kind of like Battlestar Galactica with those what became the Cylons, because in the original series, the Cylons were a reptilian race, and they created the robotic Cylons to be like their enforcers and everything else. Eventually, all the reptilians died out, and the computers took over, and they had models that were called like the L1 or something like that, and the L1 would actually get to a certain level, and it would become the Imperial. What's it called? The Imperial.
Centurions?
No, the Imperial Commander.
Oh,
It's the one that almost looks like an alien that's sitting on the big chair.
big brain.
Yeah, that basically it evolved from the same model as Lucifer. And what would happen is their computer brains would expand and expand and expand, and that's how you would get the Imperious leader. That's it.
Oh, damn.
Imperious leader.
Yeah, but in the original Gaius Baltar was a human, just like in the new one.
Right.
Yeah, until he gets ousted. Like he actually gets dethroned at one point.
Yeah, but Baltar. Yeah, but Baltar is not a Cylon. He's just selling out the human race to the Cylons. He was never originally in charge.
Yeah,
Here's the thing about Twiggy in Buck Rogers, though. The whole voice change thing. That actually happened after they took him to Anchorhead and had his memory erased.
You better get those droids out there by midday, or they'll be hell to pay. What's going on, Red Gaze? And thank you, Bone, for dropping Captain Trek's link in the chat. Appreciate that. I know Captain Trek doesn't get as much attention as he hopes, but hopefully that helps you out a little bit, my friend. And I hope that you're having a good one. So I got one more clip that I want to run through, and this is actually what Chris is going to be more acquainted with in the 70s and early 80s toys.
Does it have Aaron Gray in it?
Of course it does.
Okay. I was going to say,
1979 when the TV series was released. Now, once the TV series was released, new figures wound up being made. And who were they made by? The same company that was going out there snatching up every sci-fi product and show TV that they could find. Mego, just like they had done with Black Hole, they wound up creating 3 3/4 inch figures for the new Buck Rogers TV show. However, they did make 9 incredibly well-detailed made figures for the 3 3/4 inch line. Buck Rogers, Wilma Deering, Tweaky, Dr. Howard, Ardella, Tiger Man, Killer Kane, Draconian Guard, and Draco. Along with the figures, they also made some vehicles, including Buck Rogers Starfighter, the Draconian Marauder Starfighter, the Laser Scope Fighter, which is the exact same model of toy that was label swapped for the Black Hole. And the last toy that Mego produced for the 3 3/4 line as far as the vehicles was the Land Rover and was released in early 1980 in limited numbers.
Oh,
There you go.
yeah. Hey, was the I don't know if this is true or not, but I heard somewhere that the Starfighter there, the Buck Rogers Starfighter, was the original prototype design for the Colonial Viper for Battlestar, and Glenn Larson ended up bringing that over to like salvaging resources after Battlestar was over.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, there's always like loads of different sort of designs, isn't there, they'll go through. Like, well, they'll pick one.
Yeah.
Well, I always find it funny when they do the label swapping like they did on that last one that I was showing. I mean, that was something that a lot of those companies did early on. Like when Kenner first got the Star Wars, they did a whole lot of label swapping for that. Whole lot of label swapping before they even released just those cardboard backs for what would be the mail away figures.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I think our childhood was like rife with label swaps. I mean, look at Masters of the Universe. It's just the big Jim toy line.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, the Tigers were most definitely. And what's going on? Gap Stargate, Chris Fix, Jens, and Shellback. What is up, everybody? I know I'll probably burn for this, but Buck was never in my jam. Oh no,
Philistine!
Somebody throw rocks at that guy in the chat. No, Lasso Truth School is spelled completely right. Skool. That's the way it's supposed to be spelled.
Tell me.
You Buck Rogers was not your infidel. I will kill you.
Burn the heretic.
Share my screen, Tommy. See if it changes Red Gaze's mind and that.
Oh, is it an Aaron Gray pick or a Princess Ardala pick?
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, dude. Princess Ardala, man. Like looking back on it, I was like, damn. I miss the 70s.
Don't get me wrong. There was a few things different. I see what you're saying, too, with Red Gaze. Yeah, the toy makers are damn deceptive label swap, and they did it a lot because they couldn't get shit out. But, yeah, Gap Stargate, what's going on? And, yeah, Glenn Larson cannibalized the sets and ships from Battlestar Galactica for Buck Rogers and the sound effects. Yeah, they did steal a whole lot of stuff there. They did make a few changes. It wasn't like a complete just swap out. But if you look at most of these sci-fi franchises, a lot of them do kind of pick from other companies. I mean, even look at the Transformers as far as Sunbow. If you look at the original model of what the Decepticon ship were, what they call the tri-tetra jets. Jesus, that's a tongue twister. Yeah. But that look, if you look at it, it looks very similar to the Vipers from Battlestar Galactica. And most people miss out. And there's a lot of things that they cannibalize. Now, if you look at the newer versions of the tri-tetra jets that they were releasing with the Siege line from Hasbro, they are almost exactly like the Viper. There's hardly any difference at that point.
So on Cybertron, they were really the remnants of the 12 colonies of Kobol.
That's what it almost looks like in a way.
That's awesome.
Red. I'll screen cap it and show you, Tommy.
Man, did you guys ever see the movie for Buck? Like they actually had the pilot was a movie, and it was like rated R.
Did somebody say He-Man a minute ago?
He-Man.
Why are you showing Conan then?
Well, because that's what they were trying to do, right?
Wrong.
For He-Man.
Nope. I hate to tell you, you are completely wrong. They actually tried to take that to court, and
oh damn.
Well, Mattel proved that they had already had He-Man in development before they even got the offer for Conan. So that theory and that rumor is completely wrong. You could look up in the court records. It was I want to say it was I forget the name of the company now. It wasn't TriStar. I forget what the name of the movie company is, but if you look at lawsuits against Mattel for He-Man, look it up. You'll find that they took them to court and they lost because they were proven that no, Mattel already had He-Man in development before Conan.
No, I'm not wrong. You're wrong.
Oh, no, I come with facts.
Hell yeah. See,
I come with facts.
You're wrong. You're wrong. Get your boosters. You're wrong.
See,
you're wrong, Shellback. You're wrong.
Yeah.
Pamela Hensley is the princess.
Yep. Hell yeah. He's got it, man.
You man. Shit, Shellback. You just opened a can of worms. It's absolutely true. No, like I said, there's a lot of these different shows from the 70s and 80s because my father had a genuine interest in a lot of these shows. Mm-hmm. I wound up having a genuine interest for a lot of these shows because it was something that we were able to share and sit down and watch. He didn't like everything I watched because he damn sure didn't like none of the cartoons I watched, and he wouldn't even bother when they came on Saturday morning. But throughout the week, when the regular show's on, I was generally watching the same things that they did, and I liked most of it. So, I mean, I'd be watching Buck Rogers, Battlestar Galactica. I'd be watching Star Trek. I'd be watching MASH. When Dukes of Hazzard came on, that was one of the few that he watched, but he wasn't as into it as I was.
Oh, man. Dude, that was my thing back when I was, like, really young.
You're so good, old boys.
Yeah!
But Buck Rogers was definitely one of the ones I had a lot of memories from, like really fond memories. And it was one of the few that weren't completely destroyed by modern Hollywood as of yet.
Well, dude,
as of yet.
Dude, season 2 had a great scene in it. Season 2 of Buck Rogers. Do you remember the Magic Dwarves?
No, but we'll bring them up.
There is an episode in season 2, and I can remember this when I was like 4 or 5 years old, and I was just like, I don't know if this is right, but I'm feeling really confused right now. But there were magic dwarves, and they repaired Crichton, the big tall robot that would always put his hands on his hips. Mm-hmm. And they do like think about the brain, and they like they use their telekinetic powers to like forge his brain back together.
Okay.
Well, they looked at Wilma Deering and went, "You don't look like a man. You don't look like a man or whatever." And she's like, "I'm not. I'm a woman." And they're like, "So what do you got on underneath that?" Off think. And they stripped her naked. And I was like, "What?"
See, why can't we get programming like that anymore?
It was like the Time Bandits, man. Like,
well, I mean, they were just coming off of
#MeToo.
Yeah.
Well, they were just coming off of what was a pretty much an open like policy as far as like movies and everything. Because you look at 1975 with Logan's Run.
Oh yeah.
They let all kinds of things go in that, and that thing was still listed as PG. It was never listed as an R rating when it was released in the theaters. And what's going on? Lucky as God. I never watched the show because I'm not gay. Just kidding. Hey, y'all. And Tina Bojan says, my husband said, oh, yes, Princess Adala. Major boobs.
Yep.
Incredible Hulk. Yeah, you know what? Lou Ferrigno showed up on a lot of those different shows.
Yep. You know who made
Water a lot heater of disaster averted. Nice.
You know who made a lot of cameos in Buck Rogers? The original Adam West villains for Batman.
Yeah.
Julie Newmar was in it. Cesar Romero was in it. Hell, even the Riddler himself was in it.
So that episode about the dwarves, I would love to see a Peter Dinklage review of that episode.
Does anybody care what that shorty has to say? Look, if you want to get a real review from a real midget, you could probably always reach out to Stephen Walton. I'm sure he's got something to say on this subject.
Oh, poor Walton.
It's not my fault. The guy's tiny. What do you want me to say?
Would you say it was a
No,
low-hanging
hey,
fruit?
dude, the joke was there. You had to take it, okay?
Of course I did.
Yeah, it was a low-hanging fruit. Oh,
No,
man.
he wished he was that tall to be low hanging.
Maybe if he gets up on a soapbox, he'd be that low hanging. What's going on, Decepticons? King of villains. What is up, my friend?
No, he can't get on the soapbox because Tom Cruise won't get off.
Oh no, Tom Cruise is just wearing extended platform shoes now. You see those things? He looks like he's Marilyn Manson walking around in those things.
God.
The beautiful people, the beautiful people.
You know, Marby Dog, if that's all he did is just busy all the time, that would probably be the best role that Dinklage could ever have. Because no one wants to hear that man talk.
That wizard came from the moon. Sorry, video game joke.
Space isn't diverse enough.
Oh God.
It's funny. What's funny about Dinklage is he, played Tyrion Lannister, right?
Mhm.
Who was was like on point, okay, with just about every statement he made, right? If not every statement. And that character, was like, said profound things like, you cut out a man's tongue, you're not proving him a liar, you're just proving that you don't want him to, say what he's saying. And then he goes from that to making dumbass statements about freaking Snow White and the Seven Dwarves,
Costing people their jobs too.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know. I mean, like, what are they gonna do if they Because I saw on the Star Wars slate of shows and movies that Willow was back on the menu, so to speak. And I'm a big fan of Willow and all those. What are they called? The Narwhals or something. The dwarf people that Willow belongs to. Like, those were all played by dwarves or little people. Like, what are we going to do with that? Like, are we going to say we can't get those now because it's politically incorrect?
Warwick Davis was like probably
midgets can no longer play midgets.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, man. I mean, like, there's been some like dwarf actors out there that have been badass, and I would definitely put Warwick Davis in that category.
He was in a whole lot of stuff. You know what? I would even say that the guy that was working for the WWE rather,
Hornswoggle?
Yeah, I would say even he's a better actor. Well, you've seen he actually went after Dinklage for some of his comments, but
Yep. I don't
yeah,
blame him.
Pale Rider, what's going on, Pale Rider? Space is a cosmic blackface. So racist. No, what's racist about it is the little white stars imposing themselves on the blackness. How dare they?
White star privilege.
White stars.
yeah, twinkling with their white star privilege.
Yeah. Twinkle privilege. Oh God. No.
Down with the twinklearchy.
Yeah. Gonna dismantle it. Oh man. So what is a black hole? Is that just like BHLM? Like Black Hole Lives Matter?
It's a good possibility. I don't want to get into that because we could get in trouble.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Denied.
I don't really care about those people, and I don't care if they get offended. You know what? Get in the back of the line. There's a whole lot of other people in front of you that are offended with me. It is what it is. But no, I enjoyed this show. I can't even really I can't even say one thing in particular that actually drew me to the show, but there were so many different elements. I liked the way the ships look. I thought they were similar, of course, to Battlestar Galactica, but I thought they were different enough that they had their own flavor to the way that they looked. Again, the only thing I can't say I wasn't like super thrilled over was a lot of the very plain outfits that they had in the show, because some of them were extremely plain looking. And then you get other nice things like what the Princess Ardala was wearing.
Oh yeah,
like that was absolutely fantastic.
Well, did you remember Jamie Lee Curtis in that one episode where she had that like skin tight red, like she was like a prison colony escapee or something?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, Jamie Lee Curtis in the 70s. Wow.
Oh
Jamie
no,
Lee Curtis? Jamie Lee Curtis or Marky Post?
Oh, that's another good one. But yeah, I think they were both in Buck Rogers, weren't they?
Because there's a freaking Marky Post wore a tight red outfit on Buck Rogers as well. But then again, so did Wilma.
is.
You know, Wilma's uniform was, I mean, that thing was tight enough to be painted on, you know.
Oh, yeah, there were actually rumors were that a lot of her outfits, especially toward the end of the first season, were actually sewn onto her. Like they were assembled onto her because they were so tight. Like those metallic pink and the metallic blue one. Like, damn.
Seamstresses.
Realism.
Yeah.
Well, did you see what Pale Rider said, Chris?
Come on, let's be all. You get the hype in there.
And Gap Stargate says, yeah, the one episode with Jamie Lee Curtis where she escapes a prison planet with Buck.
Yep. See, like, this was so good, man. Like, I don't know. Like, I was with you. I hadn't seen it for a while. I saw it in its original run. And then I saw it on Tubi recently. And I was hooked. Like, it's so good.
They just don't make shows like that anymore. And here was the one cool thing about a lot of those shows, too. A lot of different shows, at least in like the 70s and 80s, you would see crossovers of a lot of these different people from all these different shows. Like, it's like, oh, I remember him. Like, I remember the one time I was sitting there watching Night Court, and it was the first time that they had on Lou Ferrigno. I was oh, it's the Incredible Hulk. And he's on Night Court. You know, like, it would be stuff like that. Like, you've seen LeVon Burton on Night Court well before they ever did Data in the Next Generation.
Oh, like Brent Spiner there, where he was the hillbilly with his wife.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and well, Marky Post, who was a regular on Night Court, was also a guest star on Buck Rogers. So it's like, there's always that like cross pollination. And in fact, remember Gary Coleman from Different Strokes was on an episode of Buck Rogers.
Yeah.
What you talking about?
Well, I don't know, dude. When I was a kid, Gary Coleman was awesome. Like him and Mr. T. Remember when on Different Strokes when he dressed up as Mr. T?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he had the little bald cap with the freaking mohawk on top.
Oh my God!
If Buck Rogers lasted, they could have had Mr. T as a guest star.
So freaking, I think it was Raw. Eddie Murphy's when Eddie Murphy was doing Mr. T.
I pay you fool.
Boy, that's tight. Yeah.
All I remember about Eddie Murphy Raw was him and his brother Charlie were in the bathtub because they were poor, so they all had to take a brother bath or whatever together, and they were playing G.I. Joe's. And he shoved a G.I. Joe up his brother's ass.
He's going into the cave.
Charlie Murphy.
Oh man, rest in peace, Charlie Murphy. His stories are a legend. With a 5 finger say to the face, slap.
Yeah. Come over here and give Charlie Murphy a lap dance.
or how about the one where he was like, and then I call Richard Pryor, and I was like, Bill just cussed me out. He's like, you tell Bill I said to have a Coke and a smash. Shut the fuck up. The Jello couldn't eat motherfucker.
Or the part where they got Rick James to reiterate some of the story parts, and he's like, he's like, what do you take me for? Why would I go into somebody's house with my with my muddy shoes and mess up his couch by rubbing my shoes all over his couch? So, anyways, I was rubbing my shoes all over his couch.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Yeah, yeah, they did like a rewind. It's like I ninja kicked him right through a window.
Luffiest God said, by the time I was aware of Buck Rogers, I had already seen a far better adaptation, Duck Rogers, and it made no sense to check it out.
Oh, there's a video game based on that. Duck Dodgers there. Man, I think it's for the
Duck Dodgers in the 24th and a half century.
Yeah.
20, I thought it was 25th. No, whatever.
No, that was Buck Rogers. Yeah, Captain William Buck Rogers.
No. Yeah, I know, but I'm just Duck Dodgers in the 25th and a half century.
Now, see, would they be able to do that kind of stuff now? Because I'm pretty sure that the owners of these shows would probably be going after them for copyright claims and everything else.
Yeah. Well, unless Warner Brothers, who owns both of those, could do that, you know? Like, there'd have to be all sorts of delicate licensing involved. I mean, look at what's happening with Netflix. They lost all of their Marvel properties. So Daredevil, Jessica Jones, they're all gone now.
Oh, dude. Freaking The Punisher.
Yep.
Netflix's Punisher.
Yep.
Oh, dude, John, freaking Bernthal is my Punisher, dude.
Are you high?
No, I'm not.
Oh man. No, I really liked the Netflix adaptation. In fact, I really liked so the first season of Jessica Jones with David Tennant as Purple Man there. That was awesome. Like, he made a scary ass villain.
Everybody seems to be having fun in chat. I never realized how much I needed Eddie Murphy impressions. There was a lot of good stuff back then before the Habitually Offended took over everything as far as entertainment is concerned.
Oh yeah, I remember this when Cartman was waiting for the Nintendo Wii to come out, and they did the Buck Rogers intro.
Yeah, and they did the Buck Rogers episode.
Yeah. Great way. He gets Kenny to dig him up after he's buried himself in ice for 2 or 3 weeks, but then like Kenny didn't realize, Cartman and that was you can't get revived in that, and so it goes into like the Buck Rogers.
I do not have an interpid.
Do you guys remember the intro to the original Buck? So when the movie came out for Buck Rogers, it was the pilot episode, but it was like an R-rated version of the pilot episode that was.
Well, actually, they released that in theaters.
Yeah. And
what was supposed to be the original pilot? Yeah, they released it as theaters as a short movie.
Yeah, and they edited it when they brought it to television. Like, there's a scene in the movie where Buck Rogers murders Tiger Man. He like downright finishes him off, kills the guy. And then in the pilot for the TV series, he just kind of kicks him in the butt and knocks him, just kicks him into a wall, basically.
Well, there was only so much they knew they were going to be able to get away with on TV anyway. And especially if they wanted more characters, especially merchandising-wise, if they wanted anything, they were going to need to keep certain characters alive.
Yeah. And, well, the intro, though, for the movie had, like, Aaron Gray and a couple of other smoking hotties, like, half naked on, like, a giant glowing logo of Buck Rogers. And they had lyrics to the song at the end of the TV series. And I was like, doom, doom, doom. Yeah. And it was, and it was like, what am I want? Like, and again, I'm like, 5 6 years old.
Frozen in time.
It really drives me nuts when I put those clips together that I forgot to get some of the intro music for it. I wasn't even thinking about it. I don't know what I was thinking.
The end scene of Buck Rogers, it always reminded me of like someone just filming the bottom of a shower in in a black bathroom with black sound.
Was that supposed to be stars? Because I always thought it was like looking into like a Coke. Like if you poured a glass of Coke and like stick the camera on top, like all the bubbles coming out.
A Gap Stargate, I say, the Amigo version. Yeah, Amigo actually made the 12-inch right after the 3 3/4-inch figures.
Oh,
and those figures were absolutely awesome looking. They were well detailed, kind of like the same way with the Star Wars. If you got the original Kenner run, those small figures, they kind of almost resembled some of the characters, kind of.
Yeah.
Nobody could tell me that those things were highly detailed because they were not. They were not even close 90% of the time. But when they came out with the 12-inch versions, holy crap. I used to have the Luke Skywalker. I can't find it. I know I had it. That thing was amazing with all the cloth clothes and the rubber boots that he had on. Granted, the only thing that drove me nuts about that one is the original had a very short lightsaber. Like the lightsaber was almost in the shape of a toothpick. It came to a point because I found the lightsaber, but I couldn't find the damn figure.
I had a 12-inch Steve Austin once, $6 million man.
Did you the one with the telescope in the back of his head? Like you look through the back of
his head? Yeah, you could look through his eyeball. Yeah,
awesome. Although those do not none of them have survived because the rubber material that they used on his arm when you could like lift up his arm to see like the gadgets and stuff or the circuitry under there, the rubber is all rotted. So even if you like kept it in pristine condition, like oxygen just destroyed it.
Yeah. They had
go ahead, yeah.
At all where his arm would like link into like little plastic tubing, but we should mention plastic tubing around Tommy. It did slot in easy though.
Well, I mean, that was a problem with a lot of the rubber that they used in a lot of those figures early on. There was something about the rubbers that they used back then. It would actually melt plastic. So if you have rubber on top of a plastic, and God forbid if that thing gets a little bit warm, all the plastic that's underneath that rubber is going to melt.
Oh.
I've seen that at my dad's house multiple times with different rubber figures sitting on plastic toys, and they just melted right into them. Rubber figure would be absolutely fine. Plastic toy completely annihilated. And Luffy as God says, Berthal is the best Punisher so far. My Punisher always Dolph Lundgren. Lundgren wasn't the Punisher, and I will argue that all day long. I don't know what Lundgren was. He wasn't the Punisher, though. That was not the Punisher. Berthal, I don't think, does a bad job. I blame the story writers on that because they just don't understand the Punisher. Because that Punisher series itself was horrible. Was absolutely horrible. It was nothing like the Punisher.
I liked it.
If you read the comics, you wouldn't think so because none of the characters are what they're supposed to be. Billy was not a friend of Frank Castle's, number one. He was a low-level freaking common mafia thug. Microchip was a big overweight guy that lived with his mother. He didn't have a family of his own. And there was just so many different, even the way that he smashed his head, like he threw him through a plate glass window is how he scored the original Jigsaw. I mean, I understand they're going to take certain amount of liberties when they recreate these shows, but when they veer so far from the original content that it doesn't even feel like it anymore, that's when they start to lose me a bit.
Yeah, there was that film, wasn't they, that got made where the Punisher gets that Billy character who turns into Jigsaw and puts him in like a glass grinding.
Yeah, the War Zone. That was probably the closest to what the Punisher was like in the comics, as far as I'm concerned. He came the closest.
Yeah, he's my favorite Punisher because he's British.
Titus Pullo.
Yeah, I think he's British.
What's going on, Steve Kenobi? But go ahead.
In the Buck Rogers screen, I always thought it was someone who painted the like ceiling black and just turned the shower head on. But I think it was Chris was saying he thought it was someone who just put a Coke can on a black table and just cracked it open. It was some crazy sort of liquid coming towards the camera that like it was supposed to be like the galaxy's stars sort of going past you, but
Yeah, but they bounced off the camera lens. It's like I don't think stars are dividing like atoms, but
Yeah, but the guy you were thinking about with Punisher Warzone was Ray Stevenson.
yep.
Real quick, I'm going to hit a few of the guys in the chat. Luffy has got it. Actually, I met Dolph and talked briefly with him last summer. My brain was on overload. Ivan Drago, He-Man, and Punisher all at once. He is really cool. Yeah, there's no doubt that the guy is a pretty cool guy. I've heard stories. Yeah, he's very, very accepting to fans and everything like that, and he's not a dick, which
and he's
is always
a genius.
Cool.
He's like a physicist and like a Mensa member, and
yeah, and he like I forget who he was shagging, but he was shagging someone who was like, yeah, it was hello, it was Figgy. Oh, pull up to the bumper, baby. Grace Jones. He was knobbing Grace Jones whilst he was his bodyguard.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you find me sexy, Rocky?
What's going on, Slasher? What's going on, my friend? I hope you are doing well. And Antiderivative Jill, hello there. Welcome.
Hey.
Yeah, some of the plastic Mego used on their face sculpt turned purple or green. Yeah, that was a problem with a lot of those older figures. They had a chemical solution in a lot of the older figures. It's called bromine. Oh. And that's what actually changes the color of the plastic. So it was very prominent in the early runs of the Transformers, like the first 3 or 4 series of Transformers. If you had one that was white, it would turn yellow after a while.
Mm.
They eventually stopped. Yeah, when they eventually stopped using the bromine is when you seen toys stop like really turning yellow or brown in the sun.
Yeah, man.
Oh Jesus, Steve!
Damn.
Any Swede with an IQ above 55 would be considered a genius in Sweden.
No, you won't say that's a dog because he's a trained fucking like martial artist, and then he'll be trained in action. So you won't fuck with him because, like, yeah, if he's God. If you see him again, tell him from me, if you could, that yeah, I liked his. I loved his film he was in with Scott Adkins called Castle Falls, because he directed and produced it himself.
Oh wow, he did the full triple threat.
Yeah, starred in it. I'm not exactly sure if he produced it and directed it, but I know he did like 2 other jobs. So I think it's produced and directed. But yeah, he probably did the like triple threat sort of thing. Damn. Pretty good film and all.
Man.
Well, one of the other things I want to say about Buck Rogers, because we're already veering away from it, but one of the other things about Buck Rogers, actually, Jens has it up there on the screen right there too. The reason some of the themes and everything kind of sound familiar is because Glenn Larson was involved.
Oh yeah.
And in case you don't know, Glenn Larson did the original Battlestar Galactica.
Oh yeah, dude, that theme is insanely good. The original Battlestar Galactica theme, like that still holds up today.
I think this would be a question for you, Chris.
The only Buck Rogers video game that I ever played was Buck Rogers and Planet Zoom. It was an arcade game, and I think it came home to the SG-1, the Sega or Sega, depending on where you lived.
Sega!
Man, have you ever heard of those Phison dolls or Phison figures?
No.
So Phison, I know Vinny he showed a few of them where it's like there's a metal armature, like a skeleton, and then they use like a saline, like a silicon or rubber like layer over it for flesh, and it's like a unified body or uniform body. I'd love to see a woman wearing like that.
So it was a Pison talking about Phison?
No, but I think
what's going on, Keely Chow?
if they ever made a Faison Wilma Deering, that would be insane. Like the in that white outfit.
Well, they did. I'm pretty sure they did a 12-inch figure of her, if I'm not mistaken.
Nice. Man. You know, it's funny because like you hear about modern feminism and how they all bitch and complain, oh, there's not enough women and blah, 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 and all this stuff. Dude, what are you talking about? I was in the 70s and we had Wonder Woman, Charlie's Angels, we had Buck Rogers here.
But those are myths that they didn't exist before 2017 or something.
That's right. Yeah, because there was a big glass ceiling.
Yeah. Although, admittedly, from what I remember behind the scenes happening in season 2 of Buck Rogers, Gil Gerard actually had to fight to keep Erin Gray on the cast because they were trying to get rid of her. Like they dumbed down her character considerably from being, Wilma Deering in the first season where she's like a captain or a commander or whatever to basically a glorified stewardess.
Like a sidekick, is what they turned into, and that was a damn shame because she was a very strong character. And that was the thing, we didn't have a problem with a strong character if it was done right.
Yep,
we didn't have a problem with that. But it's when you sit there and you insert that garbage like they did with some of the newer shows, that's when we can't stand it. And they still have not figured that out yet.
Not only did they. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but not only did they have one strong female character in Wilma Deering, they had another strong female character in Princess Ardala.
You're damn right. You're damn right. Gap Stargate, real quick. Glenn Larson put that Cylon in the A-Team episode with the original Starbuck. Yep. With Dirk Benedict. Yep.
Yeah. That's even in the intro where he kind of points as it walks by.
Yeah. As to say, hey, I'm sure I recognize you from somewhere.
Yeah. That looks familiar. But just to add to the feminist stuff, I don't think there was a single female character that was dumb and pointless. When even their guests, like Jamie Lee Curtis's character, she was a street swat, she was a female prisoner or whatever. But at the same time, she wasn't like, "Oh, Buck, help me, I'm worthless." She saves his ass a couple of times too, if I recall right.
Yep,
and they had sex appeal.
Yeah. I mean, it's not just the male gaze, people. I'm fairly certain women want to see attractive women too, because I know we don't want to sit there and see ugly people. That's the point of television.
Yeah, don't say gaze too much, or red gaze will show up. It's like like Candyman.
Yeah,
red gaze. He was already here gazing earlier.
I support the gays, by the way. Yeah.
What
about the Space Vampire episode?
Yeah. Look at me, Buck. Look at me.
Yeah. That guy was a fucking freaky looking dude, wasn't he? That Space Vampire.
Well, when he infected Wilma there, and she was trying to get all hot and bothered with him, I hope that was a voice modulator because her voice went deeper than mine. She's like, "Oh, Buck. Oh, Buck, it feels so good." I'm like, is she gonna go, "I fuck me. I fuck me."
Oh, yeah. Anybody ever trying to take your manhood?
It's like freaking Jim Carrey on In Living Color when he played
Vera
Vera
DeMilo.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm taking steroids. In the next few years, my ovaries will shrink to the size of raisins. She's like, "Don't you dare!" He pulls off the little Chinese stars off of his bra. "Now that you've seen my breasts, you cannot be allowed to live."
Jesus, it's only the biggest goddamn hole in the world.
Oh yeah, look at that. The unibrow man. I think I worked with that guy once. Oh man.
There was a lot of things to love about this show. And like you're saying, if there was a way that they could bring it back and actually do it right, I would be all on board for that. The only show that I'm kind of interested to see what they're going to do is I know they're doing a reboot of the old Silverhawks.
Oh.
Now, originally the guy said that he loved the Silverhawks as a kid. And even though it was a very short run show and toy line, I don't even think they made it into the second series with Silverhawks. I think it died at the second series. Like at the beginning of the second series, they had stuff ready to go, and it died out because the cartoon didn't last long enough to keep the promotion running for it. But he says he loved it, and he wants to bring it back and be faithful to most of what they had in the original one. I think that could be interesting to see if he's legitimately faithful to the original. I mean, Grant, you don't need to be 100%. Once again, I am not saying that somebody needs to be 100% exact to the original series, but at least hit most of the notes correctly. If you hit like the majority of the canon notes right, you're going to have a good show, even if you change a few things here and there. But this guy said he was in love with that original franchise and wants to bring it back and do it justice. So I'm interested to see what they're going to do. And I'm kind of wondering if they'll wind up being able to revive the toy franchise as well.
Well, do you remember the the 2011, I think, of Thundercats reboot?
Oh,
yeah.
I really like that. I thought it was superior to the original.
Was that 2011 or was that 2012?
I think it might be 2012. It got canceled because the toys didn't sell. But
Right.
the writing, the story structure, and everything was amazing. And they actually referenced the two other properties from LJN or Dick Wolf properties that made up the Thundercat universe. They show a scene where Monstar is referenced, and Monstar is the arch-villain of
And
Silverhawks.
Silverhawks, yep.
So that means that those two universes are combined. And then they showed the Tiger Sharks, which was a third Dick Wolf Properties cartoon, big fish people, basically. So I'm really disappointed that series died because, like I said, I thought it was superior to the original, but it also incorporated those two other series, and it would have been awesome to see the Silverhawks in that style.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that they were doing nods to some of that stuff. I just don't think they did enough because once you start getting that cross promotional stuff going on, that's when it really will open up a franchise that maybe it's not doing as well and the other one is. It could open it up to a wider audience. And what's going on? Brightest day. Good to see you, my friend.
Yeah, right there.
But yeah, no, I would love to see us brought back and done right, but it remains to be seen if it could happen. You know what? If I hit the lottery, I'll bring back Buck Rogers.
Yeah. Well, I heard George Clooney is actually going to play Buck Rogers in is it a Netflix series or a Hulu Plus series?
Right.
Honestly, I don't think that's a bad casting choice because I think Gil Gerard was had a lot of that same kind of swagger back in the 70s. But I'm not a if it's like Ocean's 11 kind of style book. I'm sorry.
That picture you got highlighted, in the top right. I don't know. I look at that and I think about the modern day male feminist.
Yeah, well, he's got to be fatter. He's got to have some terrible facial hair too.
That space vampire. It's like that's what male feminists are thinking. When
my lady.
They're like, yeah, I'll be like, yeah, real men are feminists, and then women will just like want to have sex with me. Yeah,
and that's why Aaron Gray looks so comfortable in that thing's clutches.
Right? Exactly. Yeah, that is like a real woman's reaction to a male feminist.
Yeah,
the look on her face.
It's like you just see a picture of the Sahara Desert.
Yeah, just like I love eating soy, and she's all like, "Oh, that's great."
Yeah.
He's like, "Yeah, it fucking works."
I just want to be friends. You're such a good.
Yeah. lesbian friends. Yeah.
So here's a good question. Here's a good question as far as Buck Rogers, and let's just say they ever got around to coming up with a decent crew to actually work this and bring it back to life. Who the hell would play Buck Rogers?
Me, probably. I'd have to do it. I'd have to suit up, get a wig. I'm the only one who's man enough to portray masculinity in the 25th century. Any other person, I think, would let it down. Oh, apart from Chuck Norris. Me or Chuck Norris. That's what I think.
I was going to say I have a cast person I would like to say. All right, put him in the freaking least productive role. We could have Jason Momoa, and he could be the Falcon guy. He could be a Hawk.
Nice, nice. Well, he actually did play a character very similar to that on Stargate Atlantis. Ronan, the muscle guy.
Yeah.
Well, I know who's definitely playing the vampire dude, Sheldon from
from the Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
Jim Parsons. Hey guys, why don't you hold still? Let me bite you on that little neck of yours.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? You got the perfect person for the voice of Tweaky too. The person who does the least amount of voice acting and gets heralded for it. You could have the guy that did Groot, Vin Diesel.
Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if it wasn't George Clooney playing Buck, I would like to see Chris Pratt play Buck.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be a bit too big though.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking,
I'd say Chris Pratt or my boy Bernthal.
Yeah, actually,
Ellsworth, but fucking, he's so big and all.
I don't know, because Buck Rogers did have a little bit of that comedy element, and Bernthal is not very good at comedy.
Intentional comedy.
What streaming service would it be on if they rebooted it?
Well, I don't know. Google it. They are rebooting it, so
they are going to reboot it.
Yeah.
Is that a hint?
Yeah, I was saying earlier, George Clooney was cast as Buck. So yeah, I
didn't know. I thought maybe that was just a rumor.
Yeah, it is, but I think it's like a confirmable one. Like I was watching something on it. Let me do a quick Google.
Yeah, George Clooney joins reboot of classic sci-fi series Buck Rogers. And that's the 29th of January 2021. So that's a year ago. So
don't put it on Amazon. Beta.
Well, all I know is if they do come out with the new Buck Rogers, and there's no roller disco, I'm out.
Dude, the music was so it was so dated for the time too. I remember that there was that scene where he dresses up in that brown pirate getup for some reason. I guess that was a leisure suit for dancing. And he's like, "Hey, Princess Adara, let's get funky." Boom.
Oh no, that was just a dress uniform. That's what that was.
Well, the music was good though because
it was so dated.
No, but the music was good though. I thought because it was sort of crazy ass fucking electronic version of Peter Gunthie.
It was one step below the incidental music of Doctor Who. So they'd have this dancing scene where they're all wearing looks like Christmas tree lights in a rubber hose, and then you just hear it's what the hell is this? And I was this was at the time, so it was in the 70s, and I'm listening to the Ramones over here going, what the hell is that?
Disco.
Well, he's he tries to get funky with Princess Ardala, and he's I want to show you some moves from my time, and it's dude, those moves were old long before your time was over.
All right, real quick, I'll get the Gap Stargate And hell no, don't put it on Amazon because Buck will be a beta man and Wilma will become Rosie the Riveter.
You can do it.
All right, so real quick, I'm gonna share my screen. I actually found the article.
Oh.
So get out of here. Buck Rogers reboot gets a boost as George Clooney joins the production. What will life be in the post-apocalyptic Earth of the 21st century? Now, here's the most interesting thing. When I was talking about earlier with the original book, that's what they're going to base it off. It's right down in here somewhere. Where is it? George Clooney. Here it goes. Dean Hasselhoff joined Don Murphy and Susan Munford, who are producing the show through their company, Angry Films, whose credits include Transformers and Real Steel. They will all be joined by co-producer Flint Dill, the grandson of John F. Dill. He was the head of the National Newspaper Syndicate and commissioned Philip Nolan to turn his novel Armageddon 2419 into the comic strip. Buck Rogers in the 21st century in 1928, and thus the character was born. So it almost sounds like they're hinting at they're going to do something with the original idea of the 2419 to make. They're bringing him in. I mean, why else would they bring him in?
Yeah, so it'll be like Buck from like World War I era instead of the Buck from the 1987.
Oh, this might actually be good. Do you see which Legendary Entertainment?
Oh, Legendary, isn't that?
Oh, this might actually be good. Yeah, the Godzilla series.
Well, isn't Mel Gibson's
Godzilla,
thing?
Kong, and all that stuff?
Wow.
Well, I know Legendary was doing Godzilla and Kong and all that stuff, so
hell yeah,
that is most interesting.
Nice.
Hey, what's going on, CJH? Yeah, so actually, that sounds like it could be good then.
All right,
that might be something to keep our eyes on and keep watching.
Nice.
Now, if it's under Legendary, that means more than likely it's going to probably wind up on HBO Max.
Oh, nice. So
that's where all the Godzilla films ended.
Yeah, and those were pretty sweet too.
Oh, I enjoyed those.
Yeah.
I think they did enough new stuff while paying it, a little bit of respect to the old stuff that it should be very interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. It was nice seeing like a modernized Toho style film too.
Yeah, here it is. There was a small caption underneath it, and I didn't see it. So to star to be executive producer, where reports of the new series will go back to the character's first appearance in 1928 story Armageddon 2419 AD. So yeah, it's definitely confirmed that they're going to start at the beginning with the original novel.
Nice.
Now that may throw people off that are used to Buck Rogers in 25th century with Gil Gerard, because it's not going to start off exactly the same way. It's going to be a little bit different. But I think that's interesting. That's going to give a whole bunch of people that didn't know about those original stories a little bit more than they knew about as far as the Buck Rogers character is concerned.
Yeah. Maybe Gil and Aaron will make cameos in it.
That would be nice.
Hell yeah. Well, Aaron made cameos in Vic Mignogna's Star Trek Continues. And yeah, she plays, what is it, Admiral Gray or Commandant Gray or something? And yeah, dude, she's still got it, man. Like, why isn't she still acting?
Probably choice.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
that
gets tiring.
Well, not only that, but I mean, how many of these people seen that the direction of Hollywood was going and they just had enough and said, yeah, I'm done.
That's true. That's true. I mean, I would definitely get out of that if I was in it.
Yeah, I hear you, CJH. That 90s Godzilla, that thing was a trash fire. I hated that thing.
The Matthew Broderick one?
What was that, 96 or 98, whatever the hell that came out? Yeah. They didn't do a retcon they could use as a different kaiju in the film. Yeah, that's possible.
Shin Godzilla, where they kill it.
Yeah. Well, that was weird. Like, I seen some of the highlights of that Shin Godzilla one where he actually does a transformation.
Yeah.
It's just so weird. I like what Legendary did with the Godzilla character.
Yeah.
Granted, the 2014 one is kind of slow. It's a little bit boring as first. By the time you get to King of the Monsters, it definitely ramps up. And I thought they did an excellent job as far as Godzilla versus Kong.
Yeah.
She was in Friday the 13th movie. Also, I can't remember which one.
Who was? Aaron Gray?
I think that's who he's talking about.
Oh, damn. I'm going to have to the IMDb. See.
And what's going on? Jason Lee Tucker statement. Good to see you, my friend. I know Jason's over there doing a lot of stuff with old metal music and everything like that. So when he does happen to go live with that, make sure you check him out. Jason, I'm pretty sure that you're wrenched. If you are, make sure to put your link for your channel in the chat. Self-promotion. We totally endorse that here at the Guinea Pig Collective. Are the new Transformer movies remake without Bay, or are they still connected as films? They are still partially connected because the producer of the Bumblebee film said that he decided to go more Bay in the way he did his Bumblebee film because he was worried people weren't going to take the G1 inspired that they originally had planned and take it seriously because of all the Bay movies. They felt that was the way to go. I think that Bumblebee movie could have been so much more and so much better if they would have just stayed away from the Bay elements.
Yeah.
Don't Bay it up, people. Nobody wants to see that.
Never go full Bay.
Never.
Well, I just looked at the IMDb stuff, and Erin Gray did. She was in Jason Goes to Hell, the final Friday.
There
she
he goes.
played Jason's sister. Yeah, she played his sister, and she was in Jason Goes to Hell. So, yeah, holy crap.
Oh, you don't have a wrench? Oh, no. Let me see if I can fix that real quick. I try not to leave regular YouTube open while I'm streaming because it usually will cause problems, but let me see if I can fix that.
Domo arigato.
Okay. Unpopular opinion. I actually thought the Broderick Godzilla was a decent movie, and the Michael Bay Transformers.
Thank you, Bone.
What about the Transformers? But the Godzilla had a fucking kid in it. What? Say what? What?
Nani?
Godzilla. He has a kid in the Matthew Broderick. Fucking lays an egg.
Yeah.
Sex.
He's a she.
Yeah. Fucking what? Yeah.
CJH, I completely agree with you. I've said that multiple times. I did that when I did a review of the Bumblebee movie. I liked the first 4.5. It wasn't even a full 5 minutes. It was like 4.5 or 4:45 of the beginning of the movie. I felt was great. It felt very old school G1 Transformers, and then it went Bayformers right after that, and that's where they lost me.
Yeah.
Even John Cena didn't kill it for me. Granted, he wasn't good.
Zhao China.
Oh, Chong Chao.
John Cena. Yeah.
Kanima. Chikawa.
Mao Cena.
Well, Taiwan is not a country.
Yeah. So sorry.
Yeah, but I can't. I can't. If that's what they're going to keep doing with the Bumblebee series, I ain't going to be watching it. You know what they can do? They can easily fix this. What they could do is they could go back to what High Moon Studios did with the War and Fall for Cybertron games, which paid a lot of respect to the early stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Go back to something like that, even like something what Netflix did. Go back to something like that and try to make something like that live action. Go back to where it all started on Cybertron and start like the beginning of the war, though, instead of where Netflix showed like it's towards the end of the war when they're, at least on Cybertron itself and they're leaving. Start at the beginning. Show the beginning. That's what they could do. There's a lot of shit that they could do with that franchise to revitalize it where people are going to love it. Because you know what? You can't tell me that people really love Bayformers when those toys don't sell. When you don't hear people constantly talking about. Yet when they put out this stuff that looks like the G1 versions and they fly off the shelves, that's telling me exactly where people are invested in as far as that franchise.
Yeah. Why did they make Bumblebee? Is it because they had a deal with like Ford or something? Like
when they made Bumblebee Chevy Camaro?
Yeah, isn't he supposed to be a VW bug?
Yeah, well, they couldn't get the licensing. VW didn't want to do it.
Oh.
Because they didn't think it would be wise to tie their products to a movie like that. Even though they did it in the past with the original toy franchise, that was fine. But they didn't want to do it for a live action movie. And they I'm sure they were kicking themselves afterwards, because as much as I hate those first couple movies, actually I hate all of them, they made money. The first couple ones really made a lot of money, and they started like falling off as the franchise went on.
Yeah, that's a shame. I'm all about continuity, like make it consistent across everything.
And that's one of the reasons I hated Bumblebee, because there was no canon involved in that. They actually used something that they used in German comics, which weren't even officially canon under Marvel, because there was a small company, I'm failing to remember the name of them offhand, but I actually did a talk about this before. And this company controlled all comics that came into Germany. So when Marvel went to license to go out to Germany, they had to go through this company who reprinted the stories any way they wanted as Transformers, but not really Marvel Transformers. So they changed the complete story, and they said, Bumblebee goes to Earth first. And they would pick and choose from different companies and different franchises, and they would incorporate that into different stories. So you might have seen a story in Marvel for G.I. Joe that winds up in a Transformers comic, because they didn't want to do what Marvel was doing exactly, because they knew it wasn't going to be canon, first off, because they refused to properly license it correctly as a Marvel comic just coming into Germany, and they wanted to do their own thing. And it's kind of the same kind of crap that Disney does, and it's why I do not respect what they did with that Bumblebee movie. I hated it. I couldn't stand it.
I still haven't made it around to watching the Bumblebee yet.
I didn't mind it, because even though the storyline, as Tommy says, is totally different from like what it should have been, the action in it was pretty good for Bumblebee, because he was kicking ass in it. Because I thought with Bumblebee teaming up with a bird, I thought it'd be like a chick flick, and there's little chick flick bits in it, but it is a decent action film. Whether it's a decent Bumblebee film is another question.
Well, you know what? Well, Michael Bay had actually said when he was working on the Transformers initially, he said he knew nothing about the lore, nothing about the original characters. The only thing he knew is that it was a name that they could make money off of. And he says, what's the one thing that he likes to do in all his movies is going to make attention? Make big explosions. And that was his entire basis of what he was making the Transformers franchise on. Big explosions and names that had already made money in the past.
I think CGH answered your question about the toys, Tommy. Between the Bayformers versus the Transformers that were shown in the Bumblebee opening.
That one?
Yeah, he's totally right. Like, I honestly had no idea what the hell I was looking at in the Transformers movie from the Bayformers. It looked like somebody threw like a car engine down the street and just let it tumble into like metal wreckage. I didn't realize that was supposed to be a vehicle.
Well, you know, I would say yes and no. I would say yes as far as Bumblebee, but I would say that the other characters, like that was supposed to be Astro Train in the beginning when Bumblebee fights the jet.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't look like Astro Train. It looks more like Starscream or something.
Yeah, that's true.
But it still looked very Bayformer. And then you took those other two main villains that are in it, the one that turns into they turned into cars and then turned into a copter too or something like that, whatever they did.
Mm-hmm.
Those characters, they looked extremely like the Bayformer stuff. They just looked like a mess. The Bumblebee actually looked good. The only thing I hated about him, number one, is that he didn't talk, that he came to Earth first, and that they spent most of the time croning over that little girl instead of actually talking about the Transformers and what was going on in Earth.
Yeah, it'd be like a movie about Spike. Nobody cares.
Exactly.
Well, I didn't like the character designs of the Bayformers, like in those Transformers films. I didn't know what I was looking at half the time. It was just this big mess of twisted metal. You know, I couldn't identify what they were, but like there were some, like I knew that like in the Bumblebee one, I was like, oh, that's Soundwave. Like I could identify that just by looking at him.
Well, that was the one thing that they did right in the beginning is they used more like what was like I said earlier, the High Moon Studio concept of War and Fall for Cybertron, because that's what they very much looked like to me. And I was like, wow, this is going to be good if this is the way they're starting. And then when they got into the rest of the story, I just started, and what's going on? Wookiee supremacy. More Transformers, huh? Shocker. No, that's shocker. Lincoln Park always came out with a banger.
Transformer talk's going to come out sooner or later.
Yeah, what's up, Soul Assassin?
What?
They rejected the original Optimus Prime voice actor for his Transformers. Yeah, he was originally trying to.
Peter Cullen there?
Yeah.
Shocker.
There it is.
Shocker.
Yeah, Lincoln Park doesn't have any bangers.
Well, except for the one for the lead singer.
Oh.
I'm sorry, Chester.
Pretty much, yeah, he was actually having problems with his voice, so he did get the beginning recorded. But that was for a Bumblebee.
Yeah, why did they do that? Why did they get rid of his voice? Because they did that in the Bayformers too, and it was like, why? What was the point of that?
I know some people say that he had problems with his voice, and then Michael Bay just didn't want him. Because I think he wanted to completely separate it from the original product line, and he wanted to do his own thing, which is kind of counterproductive if you ask me. Because it's really, in the end, it's still about promoting that toy line. Because there wouldn't be a movie if it wasn't for the toy line being so successful. So why change the characters and the way the characters think and feel and operate? Because that Optimus Prime in those movies wasn't the Optimus Prime that was in the comics or the original Sunbow cartoons. It just wasn't. It was a completely different iteration.
So to kind of bring it back a little bit to Buck Rogers.
Absolutely.
If Tweaky was a twin Transformer, what would he be while he was in disguise?
A giant dildo. He already looked like one from the shoulders up.
Well, I don't know why you want to compare Tweaky to Fauci, but okay.
No,
Tweaky booster.
No, well, he had that. Sorry,
Fauci would be Dr. Thermopolis or whatever.
Dr. Theopolis, yeah.
Theopolis, yeah.
That'd be Cloud Slouch, whatever his name is.
Fauci.
You're wrong.
Yeah. Well, what about Crichton from the second series? Big obnoxious robot that nobody liked. Like he would go around saying, "You're wrong."
Look, our Lord and Savior is in the chat.
Hey, no, Fauci was in series 2 of Buck Rogers, but his skin was blue and he had white hair. You know the episode I'm talking about, right?
So he was a Smurf?
No. There was an episode in season 2 where there was this obnoxious little dwarf that looked like a little goblin, and he had blue skin and like a white beard and white hair, and he basically was like tricking Buck. They were on like some desert planet, and he'd sit there and laugh at him all the time, and he had like magic powers to like hide his footsteps and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That was Fauci. He's like magic powers would be like shooting out jabs. Yeah, that Crichton there. That was... beady.
Yeah, he shot like didn't he shoot like electricity out of his eyes or something?
Yeah, he'd like I am a very powerful man. Take your boosters.
Your boosters, get them while they're hot.
God, seriously, look at Twiggy's head, man. That looks like a big penis. That's like a Joey Lawrence give me a break haircut. Why was that a style in the 70s? Why did mothers want their little boys to look like a giant penis?
They were leading into the hair helmets.
Yeah. Hey, there you go. There he is. There's Fauci. Blue midget. It's Google knows. All you talked to is Blue Midget Buck Rogers. It's like, yep, we know what you're talking about.
You now made the list, Jens.
I would have laughed if there was a Fauci picture in there too, just a random one.
It should have been. The science just showed
I'm surprised you didn't get a message saying, "Are you sure you want to look this up?" You know, there is inappropriate language in your search.
You are now on a list.
Yeah,
I'm sure I've been on that list for a long time. CJH asks, "What do you guys think of Lost in Space?"
Well, the remake I didn't bother watching because I know they like gender swap.
Danger.
I liked the '90s movie for what it was.
I mean, I didn't mind the original, but like, yeah, the newer stuff, I just really couldn't get into it.
Oh, look at this! What episode was she in?
Hey, and you know what that looks a lot like? Looks a lot like the dancers that they had in Logan's Run around the carousel.
Oh yeah, when people were sent up and they just explode and turn into sparkles.
Mm-hmm. You know, I really like that TV show as well.
With Farrah Fawcett?
The Logan's Run TV show.
Yep. That was like what, 5 episodes?
The guy that played Gonzo on Trapper John MD was Logan.
Nice.
For those of you who are old enough to remember Trapper John MD.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They were going to do, weren't they going to do like a Radar series as well?
Maybe.
For some reason, I thought they were going to do a series on Radar. And what's going on, Eric K? And Gap Stargate? No, I have not done a Star Trek Retro Toy stream yet. Ooh. But when I do, I'll let you know. I will definitely let you know.
Is that back? Are you talking about back when they did like say After MASH?
Yes. Yeah. Well, yeah, it was right around the same time. You know, they did Trapper John, and I'm pretty sure they were in talks to do a Radar series, and I don't recall if they ever did it.
No.
Because suicide is pain.
Do a prequel called Potato, as in mashed potato, with a prequel.
Mashed potato is the sequel.
The prequel.
Jens. Hey, Jens, English, dude. English. Speak English.
The prequel. You hear?
Good like me and you. So his vocabularistics is limited.
Very fine. It's you boys don't listen very well.
You know, it's pretty bad when you have to tell the British guy to speak English.
Let's make America here.
It's good to see Alec Baldwin in the chat. I don't mind seeing myself in multiple places at once. This is a wonderful surprise. Thank you. My finger wasn't on the trigger. It was Republican-based aliens that did it. Thank you.
A pack of sugar with a pack of
Splenda.
Yeah, Splenda with a little smiley face on it.
You know, if just because you know the dark humor that military veterans like me tend to have from time to time, I'm surprised I haven't seen a meme of Alec Baldwin with the words "You mess with a shot you don't take."
Isn't it the truth? You know what? I think you could be on to something there. I'm going to probably have to recalculate and realign everything. Hey, what's going on, Snowdub? What's up, kids? You can't call me a kid. I'm older than you. Shots. Yeah, that's right. Get your boosters, you bigots.
Shots. Looking for the good time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Cullen did a whole lot of stuff. He also did a lot of people forget this one that he did Eeyore in the old Winnie the Pooh cartoons.
Oh, wow. Damn. Man, that guy did get it. Well, him and who did the voice of Megatron?
Oh, Frank Welker.
Yeah, Welker was everywhere too. He did like Ray Stantz from the Ghostbusters. He did, I think, was it Scrappy Doo?
Mm-hmm. He also did Cobra Commander. Oh no, the guy who did Starscream did Cobra Commander.
Yep.
Yeah.
But he did a couple other characters on the show too. I forget which ones they were because I know Cullen also did Ironhide in the original Sunbow cartoon.
Man.
And Frank Welker did the same thing. He did a few different voices. I know Megatron was the main one he did, but he did a couple other ones.
Well, I remember looking at the voice cast for Thundercats, and there was only like 3 voice actors. Like, there's a lot more than 3 characters. What the hell?
People like a multitask.
Yeah.
They could do a whole bunch of different voices.
Yeah, they got their money's worth out of those voice actors.
No, it's good when you could get somebody that can pull all that stuff out because then you know you're going to get consistency.
Speaking of voice actors, do you remember from last night when Etep did his Macho Tep Wakuyan Savage promo for Vinny's book?
No, I missed it.
Oh yeah. Well, I made a video based on that thing, so Vinny might upload it soon.
I have to see that. I was resting last night. I know I stopped in the chat for Vinny's stream for a while, but I'm still resting my foot, keeping the swelling down. In case anybody knows, I will be cutting this one pretty soon, just because I'm still in pain. I still got this damn swelling in my foot from gout. If you've ever had it, you know exactly how much this shit sucks. Ancient alien guy. Yeah, I seen that. We got Giorgio Tsoukalos in the chat. Wow. Very nice.
That guy's hair. Oh my
I
God.
love that guy on that show. Ancient alien. He's absolutely hilarious. And what's going on? Courtney Fellowship of Oddballs. Good to see you.
Yeah.
Canada is in prison right now. Yeah, it absolutely is. It really is a shame, but no, like once again, like finish off with Buck Rogers. I can't really say a whole lot of bad things about this. I mean, yeah, other than there was a few things that were kind of cheesy. Take the blue midget Fauci, for example, a little bit on the cheese side, a little bit Wizard of Oz, a little bit. But there were so many good things about that series. If you guys haven't checked it out, you can go over and watch it on Tubi for free. Yep, go to Tubi TV, watch it for free. I mean, granted, you got to put up with commercials, but you can see the show. This is a fun show to watch. And you know what? I really need to go through the rest of my stuff because I'm hoping that maybe there's a few more of the old Buck Rogers toys that I skimmed over when I was going through those crates. I'm hoping I find more of them.
Nice.
Yeah, guinea pig raid to Canada. I wish. That would be most interesting. I don't think that they're ready for me. What are they going to do? They can't put cuffs on a guinea pig.
Are we still on for the where guinea pig?
Oh no, that's something I keep pushing. I'm trying to get Katie to incorporate it. If not, I'm going to do it myself. Weeking at the full moon. Maybe you know what? Maybe that could be a short story that could be added on to the Guinea Pig Collective comic that got my daughter already working on.
You could do guinea pig parodies of every comics.
Dude, and set it to the music of freaking Ozzy Osbourne. Week at the moon,
or Crazy Train. Do week.
I still have the one. I still haven't finished it, and it's actually driving me absolutely bonkers. I haven't finished, but I've got the PWO. It's almost done. I got to throw a few more footage of the guinea pigs into the video, but I'm working on you remember NWO by Ministry?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I have that, but it's the Pig World Order. I've got all the lyrics done. I've got all the music done. The only thing I got left to work on is the actual video that's supposed to be on top of it. That's all I'm working on right now. It took a while to complete because there was a bunch of things I had to put in there, like a bunch of, obviously I grabbed my bass and I put my bass lines over top of it. And then I added all the extra weaking from the pigs. And they were all teeny tiny little clips to put in there. Guinea pigs with attitude. I'll have to look into that next.
Oh, man.
I love Ministry. Yeah. Any last thoughts on Buck Rogers?
Well, I am, based on what you had just read about the Clooney series, I am cautiously optimistic, and I'm looking forward to it. Although I think the 70s series sets itself apart from what truly is Buck Rogers as its own thing. And I would urge anybody that's a fan of that stuff, like the cheese is part of it. Like the cheese is something to be celebrated because of course it's cheesy. It's sci-fi. It's
but this is my Buck Rogers though. The stuff in the 30s or whatever. Because but this is what I grew up on.
Same here.
The Gil Gerard.
But once again, it's always going back. They always take something from the original and bring it to the newer one. And that's pretty much all people want. They want a little bit of continuity with it. They want the characters to feel familiar. And if they at least do that, they can have a hit on their hands. They could have something that we haven't seen in a while, a series being rebooted and being done right all the way from beginning to end. I mean, I think there's been a few examples of that. And I think there's been a few examples where they've strayed the course a little bit. Like Brightest Day had absolutely suggested I watch Battlestar. Drew said it. I know a few people in the chat said it well. And I started watching the new Battlestar again. And I tell you, I still have issues with it. I still have a lot of major
I thought
issues.
they did it well. I thought they did it well because the first time I heard about, especially Starbuck, the first time I heard about Starbuck being a woman, I'm like, oh fuck, here we go, But no, dude, I liked it. I mean, in Katie Sackhoff. Whew.
Yeah.
Well, here's the issue I had with it though. A lot of people said, well, they're not insinuating that it's the original Starbuck, but they do play up to the same mentality that the original Starbuck had. Because they start off the scene almost exactly like the original Battlestar started off with when you seen Starbuck the first time.
Smoking a cigar.
He's smoking a cigar, sitting at a table, gambling, and being
But they did it well, though.
I get that. But I'm just saying, like, it was certain things like that threw me off a little bit. Of course, the original history of the Cylons now being created by humans, which fed off that god-awful Caprica show, which I couldn't stand.
Yeah, that was
I didn't like that. Those are the few things. Yeah, those are the few things I had a problem with. And then Boomer being a Cylon, and that kind of like, because I like the original character of Boomer.
Well,
I like the original. I like the original Colonel Ty as well.
Oh yeah.
See the thing about that I like though about the quote unquote new Galactica. Like there was one episode where Apollo, Leah Dama, right? Where Apollo and her were arguing. She hauls off and freaking punches him, and he punches her right back. and I'm like, yes, hashtag equality.
Yeah, welcome to equality, bitch. Whoosh. No,
all right, real quick, I want to say hi to Bruce Lombardo of Dick's Division. What's going on, Bruce? I hope that you are doing well. And E. Clay Thomason, who also joined us. Remember, Daffy Duck is Duck Rogers? Classic. Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. And real quick, Soul Assassin is already putting lyrics together for it. Straight out of YouTube. There's a guinea pig that will bite your mother and make your sister think I love her as I steal her carrots.
Straight out of the pig
have to
pen.
look into that. That might be actually fun to do. Oh, what's going on, Nelson the Gentleman? Hell to all you scrappy, crazy motherfunks. Dirk Benedict is the best Starbuck and a national treasure. Yeah. One thing I will say about the new series, at least they paid a little bit of respect to the original one, and this is where they get props from me, and this is one of the things that Brightest was talking about, is they actually do show the original Cylon models
Yep.
Mhm.
They do show some of the older Vipers. Now, granted, they're not exactly show accurate, but they're fairly close. And then they also bring back Richard Hatch.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I
Richard
thought it
Hatch
was
is-
so cool that the person that he's interacting with from Galactica is the new Apollo. I thought that was actually kind of cool.
I thought Richard Hatch was the heart of Battlestar Galactica, and it really disappointed me that he couldn't get any traction for the series that he was trying to pitch, because he actually made like a pilot pitch for like a continuation. He even got the actor that played Boomer in it, and they showed a reptilian race, and I'm assuming that might have been the original creators of the Cylons. And it's like, why didn't we get that?
I wish they would have stuck a little bit more to the original story with the original Cylons. To me, that just was so much more interesting. But
yeah, well, that and like the original series was about family, like even though I liked Edward James Olmos better as Odama than Lauren Green because the whole Bonanza thing, but like I found that the original series was about like family love, like Apollo and his dad, they got along great, and his sister and all that stuff. Like there was a family there, even when they lost Rick Springfield. I mean, Zach, like it was like a family, whereas the new one, it was like, you don't even need the Cylons and these people will just tear each other apart anyways.
Yeah, they did, Wookiee. And they not only turned her into a girl, but she was a Cylon.
Grace Park.
Well, like I said, I didn't mind. I don't mind the changes that they did because they did it well, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, I think they were trying to set themselves apart from the original, and they weren't saying they were the original.
Mm.
So there's that. So it's like a retelling of the story. I mean, I still wish they would have kept the aliens that created the Cylons. I find that to be a better arc than we created this terror ourselves. I mean, that's so played out in movies.
I do believe they pitched it or not pitched it, but yeah, they touted it as a reimagining. I do believe so.
Mm-hmm. The only other thing I say I hate it, and this is part of the reason why I wish they would have went in a different direction with the story of the Cylons, because I hated the tie-ins back to that nasty, dirty, disgusting, bottom trash-feeding hoe of a show called Caprica.
Didn't Caprica come after though?
I thought it was like a prelude to it.
Well, I mean, Caprica was a quote unquote prequel, but the show actually came after. So yeah,
did it? Are you sure? Because I remember seeing.
I'm pretty sure that Caprica started after BSG went off the air.
No, that's funny because that was the first one I seen is Caprica. Yeah, I hear you, Lasso. I hated it too. I never finished watching it. I got so disgusted. If Brightest Day was still here, he'd be able to answer that in a second, I'm sure. They turned Boxy.
All I know is, freaking Katie Sackhoff, Grace Park. Somebody help me out. The gal, the tall blonde, Helfer, Trisha Helfer.
Trisha. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I know those women were gorgeous. It was insane. It was like, so did they just look at like models? Like, what's going on?
Right. But I mean, they actually looked like women and they were badasses. Go figure.
Well, especially Katie Sackhoff, but hashtag Sackhoff.
Okay, Captain Shrek. Thank you, Captain Shrek. Yeah, so BSG aired first, then Caprica was made. Okay.
Yep.
See, I don't remember hearing about the original BSG. I just heard about Caprica. I had people tell me, "Oh, Caprica is great. You should watch that. You should watch that first before you watch." Maybe it was that they said before you watch anything else. Maybe they were talking about regular Galactica then. See, because I'd never heard about it. So first thing I started watching was Caprica, and I said, this is what I got to look forward to. I'm not watching none of this shit.
Yeah.
I I think that some of the new designs for the sidelines were pretty cool, and some of them I found a little lackluster. And like I think the idea, like even the ships being like partly biological, I just found weird.
Well, have you seen Blood
I
and
like the
Steel?
new Cylon ship.
Have you seen Blood and Steel? It was a mini it was either a mini series or a mini movie that followed Adama, and it was like old Battlestar where they were fighting against the Centurions, and they had the old base stars and stuff.
Is that Blood and Steel or Blood and Thunder or something like that? Or
I think it's called Blood and Steel. And it basically, it's the prelude. It leads up to the Battlestar Galactica reboot series, but it takes place like 30 or something years before the series, and it gives hints about how the Cylons became skin jobs.
Farscape.
Oh yeah, Moira the Leviathan ship.
I'm sorry, but that term just it still cracks me up. Skin job.
Yeah.
Farscape though, the pilot.
Hey, how much for a skin job?
In Farscape, was the pilot shagging the fucking?
Yeah, they were like connected by the dink.
Yeah, like something strange going on because he was always saying like, "Oh, you
Ding,
can't
ding.
hear me," and all this shit.
Yeah.
Ding 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 ding.
Well, Pirate didn't even have a name.
Well, I'm going to go around the panel. I really need to rest my foot. It's starting to throb, and I'm in pain. So, I mean, I knew I wasn't going to run long. I actually thought we'd probably end sooner than this, but we had some amazing conversations. I didn't want to stop it too soon. I want to thank everybody that's come by in the chat already. I mean, Bruce Lombardo, Channel 66, CGH, Bone, Lasso Truth, It's Courtney, Fellowship of Oddballs, E. Clay Thomason, Eric K, Wookiee Supremacy, Lasso Truth, the lovely Sherry. Who else was in here? Captain Trek, of course, was in here. Nelson the Gentleman. Gap Stargate was in the house. Soul Assassin was also here. Who am I missing?
E. Clay Thomason.
I already said E. Clay Thomason. I got him. Luffy as God was in the house. Snowdub was in the house. I kind of forget Snowdub had stopped in. Alec Baldwin. Fauci had stopped in. It's always good to see the celebrities stop in on my streams. You guys are great. Thank you for coming in under all those accounts. I appreciate it. Even fake accounts, it's just lovely to see him in the chat. I love it. Absolutely love it. Jason Lee Tucker was in earlier. And everybody else that maybe I'm missing, thank you, Anti-Derivative Jill. Thank you all for coming. I appreciate it every single week when you guys stop by and when you share it out and you bring more eyes into the chat and watch these shows, because we like to go back, have a little fun, reminisce about the things that we like about all these different shows. I know I got a couple more shows in the works that I'm looking at. Obviously, the Star Trek one is one it's down the road at some point. But before I actually do that, I want to get all my old Star Trek stuff together. And see that? Talk about celebrities, and George Lucas stops in too. Thank you, George. I was lurking. I was waiting for Fauci to leave. I can't take any more boosters. Neither can I. But thank you all so much for coming. And we're going to go around the channel as always. Jens, my buddy, go ahead and let them know what you got going on.
Yeah, sorry. Well, hopefully I'll be releasing a video before Wednesday, and then I'll be doing a stream tomorrow, sometimes between like late Tuesday, early morning Wednesday sort of time. Sometimes it's Wednesday afternoon, but and then on the Wednesday I'll be doing me James Bond film review with spoilers, and it's oh shit, I forget which one it is. But it's the one after a Majesty's Secret Service, because that's what I watched like last week. So yeah.
Diamonds Are Forever?
Yeah, Diamonds Are Forever. Yeah. 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 So it'll be Diamonds Are Forever.
Awesome. Make sure to check out Yen's channel and make sure to stop by 27 Pedersen, A Pedersen on Twitter. Yeah. On the Twitter. We also had Walt Disney that popped in the chat telling George to get back in his cage, and the Empress Pelosi. They ain't a party until I show up. Pelosi. So we're going to get around to the rest of our panel, and it just wouldn't be an introduction to them unless I played this first.
You know me, but I don't remember smelling you before. Who are you, and where do you come from?
I don't think anybody would forget smelling me. Those type of smells linger.
Oh no!
El viento de muerte. You can find me at Infinitel Comic on Twitter. We're holding those contests for every 100 followers. We do some giveaways, and it looks like I'm due to start another giveaway very soon. In addition to that, I have the InfinitelChronicles.com website. That's got all the up-to-date information about the Infinitel Chronicles comic book series that I'm working on. So if you're interested in that, please come on over and check it out.
Awesome. If you want, make sure you follow Infinitel Chronicles. You can go check that out. Right now, the link for that should be at the bottom of the description. I believe it is. If not, somebody could drop it in the chat for Chris. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, no. How did that happen?
How
did that happen? Click the wrong button, and of course we got Shellback. What's going on, Shellback?
Yeah. Well, we turtle peoples kind of smell like a cross between chicken and fish. So there's that. Anyway, in about 34 minutes, I will be attempting to host a stream on my channel from this phone. And it's going to be a Yelling at Parked Cars warm-up with the man himself, Comics Division.
Awesome.
And so I hope to talk about, things like the Freedom Convoy and up in Canada, and also the one that they're planning on doing down here in the States. I don't know, I'd like to maybe talk a little bit about the late great Ivan Reitman. And just other current events that are going on right now. Kind of the same deal that what Comics himself does on Yelling at Parked Cars. So that's 15:30. Jesus, I'm looking at my clock on my phone. I've got it on the 24-hour thing because military veteran. Anyway, 5:30 Pacific time.
1,700 hours.
Yeah,
so it's 5:30
17:30 actually.
So 5:30 Pacific, 8:30 Eastern for those of you that need the change. So once again, thank you everybody that came out. Thank you, panelists, for coming on and having a lot of fun talking about Buck Rogers. I mean, I kind of threw this one together. I wish I would have had more time to spend on it, but unfortunately, like I said, I've been laid up for freaking days with this damn foot being all swollen, and it's absolutely murdering me.
Oof.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. I do need to finish the new outro for this particular live stream. I'm actually going to create a separate live stream outro just for this one with all the other friends of the channel, just besides the United Underground stuff. But unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to finish all that right now, so I'm just going to run the old United Underground outro. But if you want to, in the meantime, before Shellback goes live, because we got at least a half hour, stop by and see Sporking News Podcast if he's still going. I think he should be. And, of course, stop by and see Shellback when he does the pre-warm-up for Yelling at Parked Cars with Comics Division. Make sure you guys stop by and see that. His link is in the chat, is also sitting down in the title description. And once again, thank you. And we will see you next week with another round of Going Old School. Remember, never let anybody tell you what you can and can't say, what you should or should not watch, because your silence gives consent. Later, y'all.
Have a good one.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, hi, Coast Casino.
Hey, welcome to Sparking News Podcast. My name is Scott.
I'm E. Temple Queen of the Place to Be Reviews.
I am the Patriot, Drew Taylor, aka Supreme Heretic.
The Red Gaze on YouTube, at the Red Gaze on Twitter.
What up, what up, what up?
Hello, everybody. It's me, Vinny.
The voice of Immortal Coil.
Oh, hey, I am the Ghost Bear.
What's going on, Tommy? You didn't get anybody to like this?
Yeah, I'm Wes Moody of the Wes Moody Webcast.
Tone, Death, rockin'.
I mean, we have a lot of cool things over there. I did some magic tricks.
Hi, guys. Try to stay here.
My name is Marky Knight.